It's coffee time!
I am addicted to coffee. Hi, I'm Rebecca, here for another exciting episode of Coffee Crave, where we talk all things coffee, try recipes, we look up things about coffee, and for today, I have a coffee haul from, you've guessed it, or maybe you haven't, I don't know. My last coffee haul was from Sprouts, and this coffee haul is again from Sprouts, and the reason for that is because Sprouts is the only place in town that I know of as of now that has the, in your coffee aisle, like H-E-B had this when I lived in Texas, but with the coffee spouts or whatever, where you pour the coffee beans and you can get however many different flavors you want in little bags, and it's just so much a pound. So like here it was $6.99 a pound, I believe, and there were so many different flavors that we could try. And it was just, it's cheaper that way for me to try many different flavors of coffee or different types of coffee. Not exactly how I wish I could do it, which would be trying different brands and maybe pinning them against each other. I'd like to do that in the future and see which one I like best, maybe, you know, and suggest that to you guys. But that is also very expensive. I've got some other things that I'm going to try here in the future, but today we're talking about Sprouts coffee and the different brands I got. I will insert a clip of when we went to the store and what the aisle looked like and the many different flavors they had. I'm also going to get into how a coffee bean is flavored, which I've always, at least in the last few months with starting this coffee series, especially with like the Green Mountain coffee when I reviewed those, the Wild Mountain Blueberry was one of my favorites because of the smell it had and the way it tasted, and it just intrigued me on how do they get that flavor into that coffee bean. We will get into trying these flavors in the next few weeks. So, how a coffee bean is flavored, I'll put the link in the description of where I got this information on madehow.com. And it says flavored coffee beans are coated with flavor compounds to supplement coffee beans' natural taste. In addition, these flavors help extend the shelf life of coffee by disguising changes in flavor due to decaffeination, oxidation, or aging processes. Flavored coffees in one form or another have been used for centuries. But the gourmet coffee boom of the 1990s resulted in an increased interest in exotic flavors of coffee. With current chemical technology, the beans can be produced with almost any flavor imaginable. So it's fairly recent, and boy is it true, because there are so many different flavors out there. Let's see, it says here under coffee beans, the type of bean used to make flavored coffee greatly impacts the taste of the finished product. Interesting. The bean's flavor is a function of where it was grown and how it was roasted. The name of the beans are usually because of the country of origin, which we'll see because I have like an Ethiopian one and a Colombian one. And this is why I wanted to do this, is because educating in a way if you're interested, because, you know, I'm crazy about coffee, and hopefully if you're watching this video you are too. Natural oils used in flavored coffees are extracted from a variety of sources such as vanilla beans, cocoa beans, and various nuts and berries. Cinnamon, clove, and chicory are also used in a variety of coffee flavors. I just wanted to know a little bit about that process and how do they get the flavor in there. So on this side, I have more of the darker roast, at least what I feel like, and ones that are specifically labeled dark roast. And over here, I put together were the more so flavored coffees, which is why I wanted to discuss flavored coffee and how it's put in there. Anyway, so we got 9 different flavors for, like I said, about 11 something. And let's just go from the side on and talk about these. Let's see. We got the French caramel vanilla, something hazelnut. It's a hazelnut flavor, that's for sure. English toffee, which sounds very interesting to me. I like a toffee flavor. And cookie doodle. The name itself just sounded really interesting. I was like, hopefully this is a good coffee. On this side, we have the Ethiopian French roast. Way to go. Mocha Java, midnight. This is my handwriting, which is awful. Midnight Stroller, I think. Dark roast. And Colombian dark roast. They all look fairly similar. I think that's just how a dark roast is going to look. They were all roasted that way, which, remember our neat fun coffee fact a few weeks ago was that the darker the roast means the less caffeine there is, which is probably why a breakfast blend is a breakfast blend, and boy does it taste great. It has more caffeine. So a light roast has more caffeine. So let's get a close look at that. French caramel cream, cookie doodle. They actually look rather similar. They even look like they've been roasted rather dark. They might be more of a medium roast. They are definitely not a light roast at all. I am very excited to try a lot of these flavors, see how they compare in aroma to flavor, how they compare with each other. So you'll just have to stick around to see these videos coming up. I hope you are having a fantastic day or a fantastic week. As always, if you want to send me anything coffee related, try any of the recipes that we've had on this series, please use the hashtag CoffeeCraveLA. I would love to connect with you guys and see what you guys are doing and just find interesting coffees out there. I get a lot of these ideas from questions I ask on Facebook from my friends, or I've had friends who know that I'm doing this series send me interesting coffees out there, like, well, you'll just have to wait and see. It is time for this week's Coffee Meme of the Week.